Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk, this second hour of Free for All Friday on Focal Point. Jeff was teasing some of the stuff on immigration. Let's drop down there, and why don't we grab clips 7 and 8, Rob? And I don't know if, and then we also want to grab clip 7 and 8, and then be ready to drop down to the Rand Paul clip number 11. But first of all, this is clip 7. This is Ann Coulter, and she's being asked about 2016 and about a presidential candidate for 2016. Now, and I think after you listen to these two sound bites, you're going to say, what in the world has happened to Ann Coulter? She used to be somebody that represented our views and our values courageously and unapologetically and without bending, without vacillating, without wavering. But this is almost unbelievable to me. The first clip is clip 7. Ann Coulter tells this radio host, who she believes ought to be our nominee in 2016, feast your ears on this.
Who are you for president right now, Ann?
Well, don't tell him, but I'm planning on giving Mitt Romney a little more time to rest, flying out, kidnapping him, and depriving him of sleep, food, and water until he agrees to run again.
You're kidding.
No.
You really want him to run again?
Look at it. Yeah, I think he was a fantastic candidate. As I've told you before, he would have won by a larger landslide than Ronald Reagan did in 1980 without Teddy Kennedy's immigration bill, and it's basically impossible to beat an incumbent. But he is head and shoulders better than the other candidates we have. They all, and I don't want to name them, but I mean, you go through the list, and for one thing, as you and I have discussed, and this is the most important point, and that all of your listeners have to tell all of their friends, knock it off with the congressman or inspirational figures. It's got to be a governor or a senator, preferably a governor. And, there's a limited list of who those people are. And they all have problems. None of them are as articulate and reasonable and as good on immigration as Mitt Romney is.
All right, so there's Ann Coulter. I mean, remember, she surprised everybody when she endorsed Mitt Romney in 2012, and now she wants him again in 2016. And the radio host, you could hear the disbelief in his voice. You're kidding, right, about Mitt Romney? And she says, no, I am dead serious. The host says, you really want him to run again? And she says, yeah, I think he was a fantastic candidate. Now, you know that we like Ted Cruz here a lot. I haven't endorsed Ted Cruz, and we don't do that kind of stuff here. There's a lot of people out there that we like, and Ted Cruz is one of the people that we like. Now, here is what Ann Coulter, clip 8, says about Ted Cruz.
What about Ted Cruz?
Well, he's a lot worse on immigration.
Is he that bad? I didn't think it was that bad on immigration,
well, most
is he?
Republicans are. I mean, that's why you need to call your congressman. I'm not singling out Ted Cruz. He has the same position a lot of these idiots have. Oh, yes, let them come here, and we ought to have special permits. We just won't give them citizenship, but we want to increase guest workers. That's going to last 10 seconds and destroy the Republican Party with Hispanics. We're going to have a servant class we're going to bring in to work for us? No, within 6 months, they will all be citizens voting for the Democrats, and Republicans will never win another election. No, but Romney was the best on immigration of any candidate in my lifetime, with the possible exception of Ronald Reagan, but he was hoodwinked into passing that amnesty when there were only a few million.
Simpson-Mazzoli, or whatever it was called in '86.
And with the promise of border enforcement. I mean, Ed Meese himself has said, if Reagan could go back, he never would have signed that now.
Yeah.
He was double-crossed.
Yeah. So people are saying, no, Ann, no more rhinos.
Well, that's just the mob taking over conservatives. Look, you may not want to try running Romney again. But the idea that he's a rhino, as opposed to what, Rick Perry, who gave illegal aliens in-state tuition, same thing with Chris Christie. And as I say, Ted Cruz is a disaster on illegal immigration.
So that's Ann Coulter saying that Rick Perry is a rhino, but Mitt Romney is not. And she calls Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz has just about single-handedly stopped the rush on the part of the Republican Party headlong into amnesty. He's called this comprehensive immigration reform. He's called it exactly what it is. And comprehensive immigration reform is all those things that Ann Coulter was talking about, the guest worker status, no promise of citizenship, which will collapse 6 months from the moment it's implemented. We all know that. Ted Cruz is the guy that's stopping all of that. So I don't exactly know what has happened to Ann Coulter, but she is not the spokesman for conservatism that she used to be. Now, something that concerns me on immigration, let's drop down to clip 11. This is Rand Paul. And Rand Paul concerns me on immigration. I had him on this program, and he said it to us that, look, I'm for a secure border, but after that, after we secure the border, I am down with the amnesty program. I'm for amnesty. I'm happy with amnesty. Let's legalize them all. So here is Rand Paul talking. This was at an event to introduce Media Research Center. There's a tremendous liberal bias in the Hispanic media, 6-1, liberal to conservative. Brent Bozell trying to do something about it. Here's what Rand Paul had to say.
I think that what's happened is that there is not the perception of empathy coming from the Republican Party, that we care about where they're coming from and we care about what their problems are. Until we get to that point, they're not going to listen to any of the next message. Are there many in the Latino community who go to church and believe in traditional values and who are conservative? Yes, maybe half, maybe 60%. I don't know what the number is, but there's an enormous upside potential. Republicans, conservatives got about 27% of the vote in the presidential election. Enormous upside, probably could double your vote, but you got to get the door ajar. There are many other issues, though. Education. I love the story of Jaime Escalante going into East LA, into an area where the kids, even the Mexican-American teachers were saying, these kids can't learn, they're just poor peasants. He went in and he taught them calculus because he had greater dreams for them. He believed that any child could learn. There are all kinds of opportunities where the status quo in education can be overcome by new ideas, by competition, by charter schools, by school choice, by vouchers, by bringing extraordinary teachers to bear. So I think these are things that if we're for, all of a sudden we're for something and we're not just the party of deportation. But you got to get beyond deportation to get to the rest of the issues.
So Rand Paul says we got to get beyond deportation to be the party of issues. Well, we just discovered that President Obama has released 68,000 illegal aliens who are convicted criminals. They have been released into the United States. Rand Paul, do you want them deported? I sure do.